Hello and welcome to another video. Today's video is all about my kit loadout for a long distance hike. Before I get into it and before I start going through it, I'm going to explain a little bit about the kind of iteration of this kit and where it's come from. I'm very happy with it, and this is going to be my go-to selection of equipment for the foreseeable future for any of my longer distance hikes. So this selection of equipment, a lot of it was purchased for and selected for a trip I did earlier this year in the Cairngorm, so that was early May. And it had to cope with a number of things. So the weather, for starters, when we looked into it, basically the weather was completely unpredictable, so we had to prepare for hot, sunny sunshine and nice conditions. Rain. Bit wet, bit grey, bit miserable. Wind. He's trying to bring down the mountain! Snow. So me and Rob made it across safely. Shit my pants. Now it's Ryan and Charlie. And then just overcast and drizzly. So basically this equipment had to deal with everything that the weather could throw at us, and also a number of different types of terrain. So we were going through the Cairngorm, so we had valleys to cross through, we had mountains to go over, we had a little bit of road walking to do, and we had some open kind of moorlandy stuff to get over as well. So it had to be a well-rounded selection of equipment, and to be honest with you, I'm really happy with how this turned out. There's very few things in this that I actually want to change. I'm really happy with it. There's a couple of things that I am going to shuffle around a little bit, but I'll explain what they are and why when I get to each individual piece of equipment. So I'm going to start off actually by talking about the clothing that I'm wearing. I'm going to go through this really quickly. These are the exact clothes that I was wearing to do that hike. So I've got a merino wool t-shirt on. We all know merino wool is good, stops you getting too smelly, it's good at wicking, doesn't rub, all that kind of stuff. Trousers, I'm wearing a pair of these Fjallraven Vida Pro trousers, which are absolutely amazing for hiking, and they're so comfortable to wear, articulated legs, and they even have a really practical map pocket in them as well, which I like. And on my feet I have got my Altberg boots, and I honestly cannot remember what the model of them is. I should probably find that out. And they're quite heavy, but to be honest they really did the job. Comfortable, I didn't get a single blister on the trip, and they did keep my feet very dry for the whole trip, apart from at one point where I kind of got stressed out, lost my temper, and decided to stomp my way through a waist deep river in my boots. So that wasn't the fault of the boots, that was my fault entirely. Okay, so most of the equipment in here was kept in the bag. There's a couple of things which were kept on my person, which I'm going to explain first. So first of all, I had a little mini tripod which was kept in my pocket with the camera attached to it, which is my new Canon G7X, which is just in this box behind me. I'm not using it today, but I have got all my camera stuff. And of course I also had a map case and compass, which I'm going to very quickly show you how that fitted into these Fjallraven trousers. So the map case, which is this Trekmates sort of rubberized map case, absolutely brilliant, didn't let any water in despite the horrendous amounts of rain that were thrown at us on one of the days. So this folds up quite neatly like so, and actually this pocket just here in these trousers is brilliant. It's absolutely perfect for a map pocket, so that was really useful. I can't feel that that's in there, it's not uncomfortable because these have got these like nice articulated knees in them, and it just became part of the walk, and I just forget it's there now, which is really good. So that was the stuff that was kept on my person. I've got it in the bag today just for the purposes of filming the video. The bag itself is a Osprey Kestrel 58 litre pack. I could not be happier with this backpack. I absolutely love it. I can't really find any fault with it. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I have a lot of backpacks and I seem to go through them, and I'm constantly using them and then kind of finding little bits that I don't like. So it's kind of my personal quest to find the perfect rucksack, and I've got to say this one is pretty close. So it's a 58 litre pack. Worth noting now, actually, one of the things that I'm not showing you in this video today is the food that I was carrying. The trip's been done, I haven't got that food anymore, it's all been eaten, so there isn't any food here. So for parts of that trip some of the equipment inside this pack was on the outside. Not a problem with the pack, it's just it was a touch too small, but still kind of perfect really. There's a number of features that I really liked about this pack. I'm not going to do a full review of anything, but we'll just have a look at a few things. So for some parts of it, my tent was attached to the outside just here, which was really useful. Did make the pack a bit weighted weirdly. It's got 2 pockets in the top of the lid here, which makes it very, very accessible for things that I need quick access to. But the one thing that I absolutely love about this is that it can be the side access to it. And I always get the wrong side. And I have got the wrong side. So there's a little pouch in the side here which can be used to extend it or to keep bits in. But this side here opens up so that I can access the stuff that's down this side very easily and very quickly without having to get everything out. That feature is amazing for hiking. I've got my down jackets and stuff here, things that I'm going to need quick access to, my little pouch and an extra layer, all down the side in here, whereas ordinarily with a lot of packs you have to get into them from the top. I love this feature. The other reason I like this, obviously, as I said, there was food in this and that really packed this bag out. And what can happen is, as you start to get through the food, your bag starts to get a little bit loose and a little bit floppy, and it doesn't sit right on your back anymore because it's not full to its full capacity. This pack can all be cinched down really tightly, so you can start to decrease the actual capacity of it as you go through. That worked really nice. So the pack was always nice and tight up against my back. It's very, very comfortable. It's got really padded, very nicely padded straps on it, which don't sit here, they kind of come in and round, so I found very comfortable. So you can really cinch that sternum strap down. The waist strap again is very padded and has these pockets, so I had access to like little snacks and things that I was putting in here all day long, and it sits really comfortably on your hip. It does come in a variety of sizes. This is the small size, set to its smallest setting because I'm a midget. Not really much else to say about that. It's got nice side pockets as usual. But that was the pack that I was using. Oh, actually, one really important feature, absolutely game-changing feature, is this stow on the go system for the poles. So ordinarily, the poles in your bag have to sit on the front side of the pack. So to actually access them or put them away, you've got to take the pack off and strap them on. These sit kind of here. So when you need them, you can pull them out like a sword, which I do quite a lot. And when you're done with them, they just go straight back in and they don't get in the way. They're just there. You still got full access here for your hands. It's just comfortable. It's an amazing game-changing feature. I absolutely love that feature. I will be doing a full review of this pack at some point in the near future. I've added onto it a whistle, obviously for safety. Even though it does have one built into the sternum strap, I don't really like these sternum strap whistles. They're good whistles, but they're a bit awkward to actually access. And also, I have attached to it somewhere, possibly on the front, which is usually on the strap, I have attached a little rag, which usually sits on the strap. It was on the front to dry it out from a previous trip. And this is great when it's cold or wet and you start to get a bit of a runny nose. I just give my face a bit of a wipe with it or whatever, and it's just helpful to have that little microfiber towel there, always accessible. It's one of them things that you don't realise how useful it is until it's not there or until you need one. So with this, it just sits on these straps the whole time, which is really useful. There's a lot of little strips on this pack for attaching things, which I quite like. I'm being cack-handed with this now. There we go. And that just sits on there. So the poles that I was using, which are in this lovely stow on the go thing, are these lightweight carbon fibre poles from OEX. They're about 40 quid, really good, really lightweight, comfortable, good quality, and carbon fibre instead of metal, which does make them a bit lighter and a little bit more flexible. These are invaluable on the trip, especially getting up and down the various mountains, and with the amount of weight we were carrying. I think my pack It's like 32 kilograms with the food in it. So that's a lot of weight on your knees. And having these made a huge difference to like the, you know, the stress that was being put onto my legs, and it really eased it off. And also what I like about these is that they extend much taller than needed for walking, but it's the center pole for my tent. Okay, so I'm going to start going through the actual contents of the pack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what's in the top and work my way through to the bottom. That's the only order I'm going to do it in, so from top to bottom. The stuff in the top of the pack is the stuff that I need access to sort of pretty readily, as I think the weather is about to demonstrate. So right in the top here, I've got my waterproofs. So rain kilt, these things were amazing, honestly, so much better than waterproof trousers. And look at the size of it packed down, it weighs nothing, literally like a few grams. Really, really happy with that. If you're lucky, I might put a bonus thing on of me wearing it. I have got a waterproof jacket, so this is the Berghaus Rainstorm, I think, jacket. Can't remember exactly. Nice lightweight jacket, not the most breathable in the world, but nice lightweight and really genuinely very, very waterproof, including waterproof pockets, which was nice. As I go on, just worth mentioning again, I'm not going to do a full specification of each of the pieces of equipment. I'll talk a little bit about why each bit has been selected, if it's necessary, and if there is anything that you would like to see a full review on, let me know in the comments and I'll get that sorted out for you. So, to go along with the rain kilt, I also had a pair of gaiters, which were really invaluable actually. Where we were, there was a lot of ticks and quite a lot of like long vegetation to get through when you didn't really need full waterproofs on. So gaiters were very, very useful for keeping the ticks out and also getting through small rivers and stuff. Combination of these gaiters with these boots and these trousers meant that I could go sort of fairly deep in water without getting wet inside my boots. So that was nice. So in the top, that isn't part of the equipment that came with me, that's my sharpening kit for later. Headgear, so a selection of headgear. So all of it's bundled up in this OEX mountain cap because it's waterproof. Alright, so rather than having it in a dry bag, I just shoved it in this mountain cap. These mountain caps make you look ridiculous, but they're so good. On it goes, like this, keeps the ears covered, and then a nice peaked cap as well, just to let the rain run off, and that can be popped up as well. I have a pair of gloves. Gloves are possibly one of the things that I am going to change actually, because these gloves, these North Face Polartec gloves, are actually very good. Very, very warm, very, very comfortable, nice fit on them. Problem with them is they're not waterproof, and that became quite problematic quite quickly on one of the days. So I do need to find a waterproof alternative or addition to them. Probably some seal skins, but my last pair fell apart. I have a thin merino wool kind of hat liner. These are generally what I wear now. I find them really comfortable, especially in the wind. They just, if it's not too cold to be needing a hat, but it is windy, these do the job at like keeping my hair out of my face, and they stop the wind like battering my head. The wind gives me quite bad headaches, so these are really useful. Merino wool buff. So yeah, just a neck scarf, can be used as a bandana type thing. Again, merino wool, because it wicks away, it dries really, really quickly, and I don't find that I sweat as much in it. So quite expensive, but well worth the money. A bit comfier as well. So that's a hat liner, a buff, and then I also have my extra warm buff beanie, which you'll have seen me wearing quite a lot. So that's my headgear. To be honest, this buff equipment, I absolutely love it. It just works. It looks pretty cool as well, which is a rare thing in the outdoors, but I like the design that they use, because everything just seems to fit your head really nicely. There's no bits on it, and it's not extra padded, it just fits, and then you can actually get your hood over the top of it, which honestly is really important. The amount of hats I've had and then tried to wear them in the cold when it's also raining and you can't get your hood over them. So yeah, buff headgear, really rate it, really, really rate it. In the top here I also have a power bank. So I had a number of things kept inside dry bags in this. The whole bag was lined with a dry bag. I've not got that in today just because it sounds horrendous on the camera, so I've taken it out for filming this. But power bank for charging my camera and my phone and little bits like that, and my head torch as well. So that's a RAV Power bank. It's one of the newer ones it's got a huge capacity in it, and I will be doing a full review of those at some point. So that's the stuff in the top of the bag. Nice and simple, basic stuff, mostly waterproofs that I'd need to grab quickly. I also kept some snacks in the top as well. So moving down the pack, so I'll open it up now. I think I'll take these out for the time being as well. It's just the map and the tripod we looked at earlier. What else have I got in the front? It's in the front. I've got a couple of head torches. Always carry 2 head torches in case one fails. Both of these are waterproof. 3-night one and this LED lenser one, which I've changed. I've flipped the batteries around in it. Good tip actually. Flip your. I haven't done it with a 3-night, so I was using it yesterday. If you put your batteries in the wrong way, it means that it's not accidentally going to get switched on in your pack. So when you stop, just flip the batteries round. Nothing else in the front there. I'll do the side pouches later on. So starting in the top of the pack, straight at the top in case I need it, is a big first aid kit. So I carried a first aid kit which is a bit beyond what you really need for hiking, but I carried this in case anyone in the group really needed it. So I've got a good selection of stuff in there, including some antibiotics and things like that. I have a Berghaus Ramchi 3, I think it is. Love this jacket. It is the warmest jacket I have ever owned. Super lightweight. Only problem with it is it didn't come with its own stuff sack, so it's in my Craghoppers compressed light bag for now. Extra layer. This is a blue synthetic lightweight partially fleecy kind of running hoodie. I actually really like it. It's perfect for hiking in when you just need like that thinner mid layer to keep the wind off or to keep the sun off. Only problem with it is because it is definitely, it's like polyester type stuff. It gets very smelly very quickly, so I had to air it out every day. I have 2 mugs. So one's a little coffee mug. These little Wildo folding mugs. This is a Mora Knife one. That's my little coffee mug, and I have a larger one which I actually used as a bowl while I was away. So that was what I had my porridge in the morning. They need a wash, and they're nice because they just sit kind of together and they just nest in. These were just chucked in the bag in any old place. Everything else is quite ordered in here, but these were just thrown in, just wedged in where they'd fit. Okay, big thing. I have my Lux Mini Peak 2 tent. I love this tent. It is so good. Lightweight, easy to put up, and there's so much space in it. Even on one of the nights where it absolutely rained, I had somewhere to actually sit up and work and have all my stuff laid out, and then it's got like a smaller inner. Only problem with it is I need to add a ground sheet. I have noticed the top part of it is really waterproof. I mean, we had some torrential rain and I've been out in some hideous weather in this, but it does seem to let a little bit of dampness through the bottom, so I am going to invest in a ground sheet for that. It doesn't get wet as such, it just gets a little bit damp through the bottom, and that uses one of the hiking poles to hold it up. Fantastic little tent, really clever design. I have a wash bag. So in here we've got sort of toothbrush, toothpaste, I've got mouthwash, shower gel, eye drops, stuff like that. The toothpaste that I'm using, actually these little things from Lush, they're brilliant. They're little toothpaste tabs. You just put them in your mouth, a little bit of water, and then start scrubbing. A bit lighter than your traditional toothpaste, and it also means that if the lid comes off, it's not going to squirt horrible toothpaste over everywhere, which wrecks waterproof equipment. And the mouthwash is the same. They're just these little sort of dissolvable mouthwash tablets. Really, really clever idea. One of the things that I am going to use that's in here at the minute is my bug repellent, which I keep in my wash kit. I keep it in my wash kit so that at the end of the day or in the morning when I've had a wash and washed it off, it's straight there to be reapplied. So, and I'm being eaten by midges today. It's finally rained. Just going to pop a little bit of that on. There we go. Eat midges. Not the best insect repellent in the world. I've got some better stuff in my pocket. If they carry on, I'll use some of that. Just pop that away. And this little wash kit is brilliant because you can kind of hang it up, and I've got like a hairbrush and some sort of roll-on deodorant and stuff in there, and it rolls up. So I've got a full wash kit. On shorter trips, I don't really bother. I just take toothbrush and toothpaste. But on these longer ones, it was really nice to have a wash. And next up we have this, which is probably my favourite piece of equipment in this whole bag. This is the Thermarest Trekker Chair Kit. Quite heavy for what it is. Standalone, not that heavy, but obviously when you add it to the rest, it is quite heavy. But what an amazing piece of equipment, especially on these longer hikes. So basically, if you've not seen one of these before, what this does is it turns your Thermarest mat into a chair that you can lean back in. And believe me, that makes the world of difference. When you've been carrying a 30-kilogram pack all day up and down mountains, all you want to do is sit down comfortably, and this piece of equipment really makes that possible. I absolutely love this piece of equipment. It will come on every single hike with me from now on, just because of like the difference it makes to you. And you can relax, and you can kind of, you're not having to hunch over your cook set. You can just kind of have it at the side of you. And when it's combined with this tent, you can sit down comfortably in the dry and be okay. So next up, sorry about that, people keep ringing me up, that's why there's a few weird little cuts in this. Next up, I have my cook system, which I've already done a review on, and I'm using the MSR stove in there. So in this cook pot, I have got my spoon, gas bottle. I did have a spare gas bottle with me for the trip, but that got thrown in the bin. It's used, so there were 2 gas bottles, and I've got my OAX solar cook set. Still love that, still using it. Absolutely solid piece of equipment. I have a little Maxpedition pouch with useful bits in it. So things like spare batteries, another set of eye drops. I have trouble with my eyes. Pens, matte pens, an extra torch, tick remover, personal cuts kit, all that kind of stuff in there. Valuable piece of equipment that. It's good for those little sort of odds and ends that don't really have anywhere else to live. The stuff that you need, and I do use that stuff quite a lot. I have an extra down jacket, so this is like a rab down gilet. Really nice because it just packs down to nothing, so this can just be wedged in anywhere, and it does come with its own little stuff sack. And I like the stuff sack because it stands out inside the bag. Everything else is kind of black and green, so that stands out quite nicely. Spare socks, spare underpants, spare base layers, just in this little dry bag. This is the only thing that's been kept in a dry bag because this stuff kind of lives in this dry bag permanently at home. It's where I store it. Obviously, apart from when I'm washing it. Okay, we're on to sleep equipment now, so I'm going to move on to what's in this side pouch. So this next piece of equipment is possibly the only thing that I'm actually going to change. This is the Katadyn Hiker Pro water filter, and it's really, really good. I can't fault the equipment at all. However, all the other lads had the Katadyn, the new filter they've got, which is the B-free. And I have to admit, I was really sceptical about that at first, and I didn't get it. I opted for this one instead, which is a little bit more expensive and just a little bit more fiddly to use. So whilst this is a great filter, the B-free was just a bit more practical for hiking. I'll still use this for times when I'm going to need like larger quantities of water, and I still will be using it for the next few months so I can afford one of the B-frees. But yeah, that is probably the only thing that I would change from this. So where the guys, when they were filtering the water, literally they just scooped it up, screwed the lid on, and it was ready to go. I had to get this out, construct it, pump the water in, get somebody else to hold the little bung thing in place, and it was just a bit of a faff, to be honest. So the B3 is really good. The B3 is lighter as well. It's not heavy, it's just bulky. What else do I have in here? Spare tent pegs, which were kept at the side. They actually need to go back into the tent. I think that's everything in there. In this side we have a mosquito head net. If you've never been to Scotland or heard the horror stories of midges and mosquitoes, this was an essential piece of equipment that we ended up not needing. It wasn't too bad. Our problem was with ticks, but still weighs next to nothing, scrunches down to even less, worth carrying it anyway. I have got my Amora Eldris knife with its little striker on there, so no point carrying a massive fixed blade knife for a hike, but there were times where this was needed. Notably, Brian forgot his tent pegs, so on the first night he needed to whittle up some tent pegs, which we could have done with the Swiss Army knives we're all carrying, but having this just made the whole thing a bit easier. Really useful piece of equipment, and it's small enough to be shoved in a side pouch as well. And I did, at the time I had the neck strap on it actually loop through one of the straps so it couldn't fall out and go missing. That's the Mora Eldris. And that is everything from the side pouches, I believe. Nothing in here, nothing in the front ones. Wonderful. So, sleep system, last bit, bulkiest bit I would say. Little X-Bed pillow, brilliant little pillow, tiny little thing, but actually a decent sized pillow when it's actually inflated. 3/4 length Thermarest sleep mat. This is absolutely perfect for me. I'm only small anyway, so my feet just hang off the end of it. Lightweight. I folded this really poorly. It can go a lot smaller than that, and that's what gets used with the chair. And then at the end, you don't have to deconstruct the chair, you just unclip it and then sleep with it all together. And then last but not least, just in here, another thing I like about this pack is it's got a separate compartment at the bottom for your sleep system, so that just stays in nicely. I've got my trusty old Everest down bag, which I've had for 7 years now, and I've used every single time I've been out. It is just my year-round bag. I don't have separate bags for different types of the year, and it's been going for 7 years, and I think sadly it is now reaching the end of its life. It's starting to get a bit flat, so I think it's time to replace this old faithful bag now. But it did all right on the trip, despite the fact that it did get quite wet due to the fact that I was ill. There you go, that is all of my equipment for a 9-day hike laid out. As you can see, it's pretty minimal. I think that's why I like it. Every single piece of equipment here got used, and there wasn't anything that I thought, oh, I need this, or I haven't got such and such a thing. So I'm really happy with this kit loadout. Some people will have noticed 2 things that are missing, well 3 things. So food, which I've already mentioned, I haven't included food. I do want to do a separate video on that at some point. There's no water bottle here as well. The reason for that is I don't carry like a specific water bottle for hiking. I use smart water bottles because they're like disposable water bottles, and they don't weigh or cost anything. I did actually bring some to demonstrate, but I've left them in the car. But the water bottles, you know, I carry 2 smart water bottles and a water filter. In Scotland, there's no worry of not being able to find water. It's absolutely everywhere. And the other thing that's missing is we did have an emergency shelter and a tarp with us. The tarp didn't get used, so I've kind of taken that out of the equation. I don't think that I'll carry a tarp again. The tent did the job just well enough. And the emergency shelter, which was a 4-person sort of bothy bag for use in the mountains, I didn't carry that. I had the first aid kit and the tarp that we didn't use. And the bothy bag was with Brian. The reason I've not got it to show you is because Brian still has that bothy bag. But yeah, this is absolutely everything. I can't think of anything that I would add or remove from this selection of equipment. It worked brilliantly, and it's lightweight. This is my base equipment, so not including food and water. This weighs in at around 12 kilograms, which is really not very much, and that's including the weight of the bag. And it packs into the bag really nicely as well. I think I've just having a think, I'll do a quick time-lapse video of me actually packing this to show you how quickly it goes in. Imagine that is possibly Brian attempting to ring me now. It is. So, hello.
Hi, what are you doing?
Can you say hello, people?
Hello, people.
Brian just interrupting my my kit loadout for my Scotland video.
Mate, you didn't even go to Scotland.
Shut up! Don't tell people.
Mate, I miss you.